Why are online banking services suddenly being disrupted on a massive scale all over the United States? Michael Snyder reports. Should we be concerned about all of the problems that are suddenly erupting at our banks? U.S. banks have been shutting down hundreds of branches. They've been laying off thousands of workers, and as I discussed yesterday, vast numbers of customer accounts are being unceremoniously shut down without any warning whatsoever. If all of this was not bad enough, now endless glitches are plaguing our banking system. For example, the glitch that caused paychecks not to be deposited at many banks on Friday still has not been fully resolved. Customers at major U.S. banks, including Bank of America and Wells Fargo, complained about delays with their direct deposits on Monday, following a glitch with processing payments that began on Friday. The Federal Reserve on Friday said the problem was not related to a cybersecurity issue and that it had been resolved, but customers on Monday continued to report delays with direct deposits, reaching out to their banks on social media to report that their paychecks had not landed in their accounts as expected. Wells Fargo and Bank of America referred questions to the Clearinghouse, a payments company that operates the only private sector automated clearinghouse ACH system in the United States. I've never seen a problem with direct deposit that's so widespread. The clearinghouse is promising to have things fixed as quickly as possible, but that could mean just about anything. The clearinghouse, a private operator of ACH, told CNN on Monday it's working with banks and Federal Reserve to resolve the issue as quickly as possible. Many of the delayed payments have already posted, and we will continue working with financial institutions to ensure the remaining transactions are processed, the clearinghouse spokesperson Greg McSweeney said in an email. An industry source confirmed to CNN on Monday that it's likely some customers have not received their deposits yet. The source stressed that banks are at the mercy of the originating bank to resend payment files. Meanwhile, online banking services are suddenly being disrupted all over the country on a massive scale. Steve Quayle was reporting on his website that this prompted me to go to downdetector.com to check it out for myself. And I discovered that all of the big banks were experiencing unusual outages on Monday. And there was a screenshot of the Chase outages from 2 a.m. in the morning until 2 p.m. Citibank suddenly started getting hit by a spike in outages during the early morning hours on Monday, 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. So what's going on? Citibank suddenly started getting hit by a spike in outages during the early morning hours on Monday too. Unfortunately, the same thing is also happening to Bank of America, 5 a.m. to 2 p.m. And outages followed the same pattern at Wells Fargo, 5 a.m. to 2 p.m., all at the same time. So why was there such a dramatic spike in outages all of a sudden? Is this evidence that our banks are being hit by cyber attacks? I don't know. Hopefully things will settle down and these glitches, quote unquote, and outages will start to subside, but the credit crunch that has now begun is not going to go away anytime soon. According to the Federal Reserve, lending standards for business loans got even tighter during the third quarter. Banks continued to tighten standards for business loans in the third quarter, according to a survey of loan officers conducted by the Federal Reserve. In addition, a significant number of banks tightened lending standards for credit card, automobile, and other consumer loans. Key details: banks tightened standards on loans to firms of all sizes. Tightening was accomplished in premiums for riskier loans, spreads of loan rates over the cost of funds, and costs of credit lines. And a survey that was recently conducted by Goldman Sachs found that nearly 80% of small business owners in the U.S. are concerned about their ability to access capital. A survey by Goldman Sachs quizzes small business owners who reported serious concerns that the nationwide credit crunch is hindering their growth. Some expressed fear that they would have to close up shop. According to the survey, 78% of small business owners are concerned that their ability to access capital, and 29% say they cannot afford to take out a loan given current interest rates. In addition, 85% say that if access to capital continues to tighten, it will impact their growth forecast. And of those, 67% will halt expansion plans if credit continues to tighten, and 21% would close their business if the credit market continues on this trajectory. Banks all over America have gotten very tight with their money, and that's going to have enormous implications for the U.S. economy in 2024 and beyond. The era of easy credit is over, and now our banks are drowning in mountains of bad debt. In a desperate attempt to save money, banks are shutting down branches and laying off workers. In fact, at this moment, workers in Citigroup are waiting to see who will survive and who will get the axe during the wave of layoffs that's rapidly approaching. When Citigroup CEO Jane Fraser announced in September that her sweeping corporate overhaul would result in an undisclosed number of layoffs, a jolt of fear ran through many of the bank's 2,400 souls. We'll be saying goodbye to some very talented and hardworking colleagues, she warned him in a memo. Employees' concerns are justified. Managers and consultants working on Fraser's reorganization, known internally by its code name Project Bora Bora, have discussed job cuts of at least 10% in several major businesses. According to the people with knowledge of the process, the talks are early and numbers may shift in coming weeks. In my new book entitled Chaos, I warn about the extreme financial instability that's dead ahead. The flow of credit is going to get even tighter, more bank branches are going to be shut down, and more prominent banks are going to fail. And that is really bad news for all of us because the banks are the beating heart of our economic system. And we desperately need healthy banks, but now we stand on the verge of a banking crisis that will be unlike anything we've ever seen before. This is by Michael Snyder. It says about the author, my name is Michael, and my brand new book entitled Chaos is now available on Amazon. In addition to my new book, I've written 7 other books that are available on Amazon, including 7-Year Apocalypse, Lost Prophecies of the Future America, The Beginning of the End, and Living a Life That Really Matters, commissions earned. When you purchase any of these books, you help to support the work that I'm doing. And one way that you can really help is by sending copies as gifts to family and friends. Time is short, and I need help getting these warnings into the hands of as many people as possible. I have also started a brand new Substack newsletter, and I encourage you to subscribe so you won't miss any of my articles. I've published thousands of articles on the Economic Collapse blog, End of the American Dream, and the Most Important News. And the articles that I publish on those sites are republished on dozens of other prominent websites all over the globe. I always freely and happily allow others to republish my articles on their own websites, but I ask that they include this about the author section with each article. The material contained in this article is for general information purposes only, and readers to consult licensed professionals before making legal, business, financial, or health decisions. I encourage you to follow me on social media, Facebook and Twitter. Any way that you can share these articles with others is definitely a great help. These are such troubled times and people need hope. John 3:16 tells us about the hope that God has given us through Jesus Christ. For God so loved the world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whosoever believeth in him should not perish but have everlasting life. If you have not already done so, I strongly urge you to invite Jesus Christ to be your Lord and Savior today. This is by Michael Snyder on the Economic Collapse blog. Please leave your comments and thank you for your support. Support my Patreon account. The daily posts are 5 videos daily, and they are totally different from what I have on my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for your support and that you find all my content so interesting. You'll find the Patreon account details in the description box below.